Hey folks, we have a bunch of cool aquarium stuff to show you and one neat terrarium item to show you today. We're going to unbox a bunch of these products and kind of take a look at some stuff that's been collecting over the past couple of months. Here, one thing about doing YouTube videos I've noticed is that sometimes I'll get an item and I'll hold it because I want to film either the unboxing or the setup for it. Sometimes I don't end up using it, or it takes too long to make the video and I just kind of sit here for a long period of time. So I want to run through some of the things that I've received. A couple of these things I'll use, a couple of these things I won't use, but I thought they were all really interesting products that maybe you'd be interested in. So we're going to take a look at that right now. All right, I'm going to clear off a little bit of room here so we can talk about this first product. So I know a lot of you guys have probably seen videos for DIY CO2, and there's all kinds of cool ways to do it. The way I tried was I took a orange juice bottle, pierced some holes in it, and just kind of did the mixture in there. I had it run to another bottle to kind of clean the air out as it goes through, kind of like a bong. I went through some water and then back on out into the tank. It was cool, but it was basically your typical janky DIY stuff made out of garbage. Garbage and airline tubes. And I'm not dissing that at all. That's perfectly acceptable, but if you don't feel like doing that, if you want something a little bit more robust for your DIY system, maybe you consider this. So all of these things come together in a kit, and I must confess, I think I got this on Prime Day and from Amazon. The whole thing was about maybe $80 or so. It was less than $100, which is a lot for considering, like I said, I made the other one out of some stuff from the garbage and airline tubes. But I accidentally actually got the wrong one. There's two versions of this, so I don't know if I'm going to use this or not. If I don't use this, I'm probably going to give it away to one of my other aquarium buddies, or somebody that you will be able to see use this. So this will get used somewhere, and you're going to see that as kind of a theme through this video, because I've got a couple of other things that I'm going to give to friends. I'm going to show you guys, and then I'm going to give it away because I can't use all the things that I have. So what I did wrong is I bought one. It has a regulator on the top with a bubble counter, so that's really neat, right? So it's got a regulator with a gauge and a bubble counter and a small dial here to kind of change it. But what it doesn't have, it even has like a carbon filter, which is interesting. I haven't seen that before. So it's got a little filter. I assume this is carbon. What does it say on the side? Preventing crystallization, drying filter core. So what this doesn't have on it is a solenoid, and they sell a version of this with a solenoid. So I'm going to see if I can buy just the solenoid version of this, and if I do get that, I may go ahead and set this up. I'm not going to use it without a solenoid. I mean, you can do this without a solenoid, of course. I prefer to use the solenoid because I like to really control when the CO2 is coming. I would feel much more safer with a solenoid on this metal container, because once this is screwed into here and stuff, it's going to be a really solid piece of kit. This is not my orange juice bottle. So if I block it off, I feel comfortable it won't explode. And I think it would really hold the pressure a lot better too. It's a really interesting device. It's got instructions right here on the label for what to do. It doesn't use the words yeast or what's the other thing that you put in there? Baking soda or anything like that. It talks about, you know, the reactive ingredient. There's a couple of different ways to make CO2 also, so I guess you just maybe pick your favorite recipe. I'm not sure if one works better with this or not. If you've got one of these, be sure to let that information flow down below. What's cool about this thing too is it comes with a little mixing cup and of course the funnel and stuff, so you can fill this thing up with the solution. It came with a little glass diffuser, pretty standard little glass diffuser, and a couple of suction cups. I got like 2 suction cups here. It also came with some CO2 resistant tubing. So really, you've got everything you need aside from the active ingredients to go ahead and just set this up and make yourself a little DIY CO2 system in a metal container, in a cool metal container. So anyway, I thought this was cool and I bought it. I wish I'd gotten the one with the solenoid on top. And I thought about adding a solenoid, but I don't know. I've got a solenoid that sits separately, and I had designs on putting that on maybe a little small temporary gas CO2 chamber. So this one might come back later, I'm not sure. I'd be really curious to know what you all think about it. If anybody's got one of these at home, did you put a solenoid off from it? Like if I do a solenoid from here, so if I take the tubing from here to here, put a solenoid on it, is the tube going to explode? I don't know. So pass that information along if you got it. I'd be curious to know. Moving on. I'd actually got that one for the 210 because what I thought is it would be interesting to maybe have a couple of those going. But I'm seriously considering dirting the 210. I'm not even showing it because it's so ugly right now. I'm seriously considering just putting dirt in there, and if I do that, I probably won't use CO2 at all.
CO2 at all.
Don't worry about it, watch. It's all good. Okay, so what I have here is a little care package from 7Ports. Now, 7Ports pays me nothing, but they do give me some cool crap to talk to you guys about. And with that in mind, I'd like to take a look at some of this cool CO2 devices that they have. It's a whole bunch of these glass kits and boxes, and they're all really, really neat. So what I plan to do is I might pick 1 or 2 of my favorites out of this and maybe keep it to use later, but I'm going to be sending some of these out to my YouTuber friends, especially people that have supported me, like Susie Q and Ed, who are also Patreons. And while we're at it, how about a big thank you to all my Patreons that have really stood by the channel and helped me. So if you're a Patreon from the past, or a Patreon from the future, or a Patreon from now, you have my eternal thanks. I really appreciate it. Every bit of money that I get from you guys goes back into the channel to try and make it better. And I get freebies every now and then, but quite often I'm buying most of the things. But extra stuff like that isn't free, and I really appreciate y'all for helping me out. Okay, let's take a look at all these things here. So I haven't looked at these at all, so I'm gonna just kind of have a quick browse over these quick. These all kind of look like little combo diffuser and bubble counter kits. Let's open this one. What does it say? Carbon Dioxide Pro Series. Pro Bubble Counter. Okay, let's see what this looks like. There'll be a link down in the description to 7Ports' website. Alright, so this is just a bubble counter set. This is something you typically see in a lot of CO2 kits. So this is a glass elbow right here. And what that's going to let you do is take the tubing and put it around a rimless tank, like over here. You could take that and put it around a rimless tank. I don't think it doesn't have a lot of room there, so I don't think a rimmed tank would actually work on that one. But you could take this around a rimless tank without getting a kink in the hose. And that is what it's for. And this has got a little bubble counter. This is the exact same stuff that I used on this tank back here when I did its setup. I think I had a smaller version of this shoe. This is a particularly long one. It's a pretty big shape there. It looks like they've got a lot of CO2 resistant airline tubing, a lot of different colors. Some things might be more appropriate than others. I tend to use black. That's from my theater days. Anything you wanted to hide, you'd paint it black. That's why I tend to go the black backgrounds a lot too and stuff. But yeah, got black, clear, and green CO2 resistant airline tubing. Now, there is a difference between regular tubing and the CO2 resistant tubing. With the regular tubing, the CO2 can seep out. It won't be something that's like a significant loss over a short period of time, but over a long period of time, it probably could cause. You'd at least, at the very least, be wasting some CO2. And if it's a really pronounced leak for some reason, it could be, worse. I won't say dangerous. I doubt it. I doubt CO2 levels would get to a dangerous degree, but you certainly don't want any of it coming out of here because it costs a lot to fill those canisters up. Or at the very least, it's not efficient, right? Efficiency has its place. It's important. All right, let's open this other one. What does this say? This is a wide diffuser. This does come with two little suction cups. Again, it's got the glass elbow there to get you around that rim. And then this has a diffuser. And you can see on this diffuser how it doesn't have much of a lip or anything. It's just kind of like a sawed-off shotgun right there at the end. This is the narrow diffuser. Again, it's got the suction cups and the elbow, but that's a slightly different shape. You can see how this has got more of a chimney to it. A lot more glass there at the top. This is the angled diffuser. Oh, la, 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 la. Thought I lost you there, little angled piece. Yeah, so that one's got a little piece of glass there, kind of on the side to sort of direct those bubbles up, and of course that little elbow piece. That looks like it's going to be on all these diffusers. Now we're getting into some other stuff too, a little bit more unusual stuff. This is the spiral bubble counter. This has that same elbow, but it's also got this bubble counter. And as you can see, it kind of spirals around in there, so the bubbles will you'll get to watch the bubbles kind of circle up there. And it's a little bit more entertaining. I wondered if that was hard to see. This is kind of neat, so I wanted to pull it out and show you. And try not to drop it. Pretty cool little bubble counter. Okay, I've got one more. This is the bubble counter with a diffuser. And as you can see, it's kind of a standard diffuser with a little bit taller bubble counter inside. Now I noticed a lot of like the diffuser that I used for this and stuff, it has like a mini bubble counter at the bottom. There's actually a little bubble that'll come up in there. I've got bubble counters actually all the way down. I've got a couple of different bubble counters on that one. It's interesting, but they're all they all seem to be in sync, and I guess it's just a matter of what's convenient to see. These things are especially convenient because you get this. Unfortunately, this will clog over a period of time, so these things aren't forever, and that's why I probably will keep at least one or two of these, because eventually I have to replace the ones that I'm using in there. But I don't use all CO2 in all my tanks. In fact, I very rarely use CO2. So having all of these really doesn't make any sense. And I'd like to give a little gift for some people. Okay, next. Now, not long ago, I did a video about a bubble trap, and the company sent me one. Now, this is the second one that they sent me. They sent me another one, a different one, and actually, I had a kind of a hard time with it. It broke while I was trying to test it, and I asked them for a part, to send me a replacement part, because it was the part that broke wasn't really enough for me to like make a big judgment on that product. I wasn't impressed with the part that broke right away, especially for something that they actually sell, But Their disclaimer is that all of these are kind of prototypes. They're kind of making these up as they go along. And this one isn't even available for sale. This is their new super advanced version. It's not Bluetooth or anything like that, but it seems to have some other features, like this door here, which I guess you could lock shut. I need to whip out the instructions. I haven't. Okay, so I took the other one they sent me. They liked the video a lot, so they sent me one of these to try out. I took it back to the store. The big advantage is that it's got a different kind of suction cup instead of the magnet, and then you've got these little bells that kind of release that magnet, so you can sit pretty far away from it too. So it just kind of that bell will force air into here and break the suction cup and send it up that way. And because it uses a suction cup, it's not dependent on the thickness of glass to work. It says, "Hi Sean, this is a new trap we are coming out with. We'd like for you to test it out. Sorry, it's been sitting in a box for a couple of months because I've been busy. We'd like for you to test it out. It has two degas ports on the side. It looks like we will be calling it the Fish Whisperer. It's a very new trap model. Plastic film on top door peels off easily. Please call Nick for instructions. P.S. Trap will come in smaller sizes." So it's got these balls in here, right? And my guess is that those are for to attract the fish in there, maybe without food. Oh wow, it's got, okay. Let's see what we got here. So it's got these little suction cup hooks, which are new. That wasn't on anything else I saw. On the other ones that they sent. And it's got a syringe suction. And it's got the little bell suctions. This is an awful lot of like stuff. First of all, pull out to catch a fish. I mean, you'd have to like have a really wily fish that you're really sneaking up on. But I'm glad that these are long enough. You could yeah, that's probably, what, 6 foot or so? 6 foot or so of these airlines. Let's see, what goes where? So this goes right down the middle there. So that goes into the suction cup. You can see it moving. You see it? Yeah, the other one goes into this thing. This film, they say, this is just protective film. So this appears to be like a trap door. I'm going to just guess how it works, right? So that's a stop. There's a little stop there to keep that from going down, right? Oh, and then it also kind of helps it stay open. Going to give a little licksy-poo right there. And my guess is that I can press on that and it'll stay, especially maybe underwater works better. That's my guess. All right, my guess for how this would work, and of course I haven't called Nick yet. Well, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But my guess is that the suction cup that I can't get to stick right now. I wish I knew. So this is either to like inject some garlic in there, maybe some food. This is behind plastic where this blows. It might be just to blow these little balls around and kind of get the fish interested in going in there. It's of course got a little floaty here. Now it's got the lip to accommodate this thing, if we can figure that out. So with the suction cup versions of these things, you can just stick them to the glass, and then you can use the little bladder here to release it. So you can just squeeze on that and it'll pop it right off. It pops off, floats to the top, and it should work similar to the other one, except it's got a whole lot more umbilicals and stuff. Last time I showed one of these, a whole lot of people had suggestions for making their own DIY one. I'm not using this today, of course. I just don't have the energy to sit around and wait or try to figure it out, and I haven't even talked to Nick yet, so I need to call Nick and see what this all is supposed to do. Some parts of it are similar to the other one, which I do have instructions for. I should have brought over here. I am planning on catching all the fish out of my 210 and redoing it very soon. And maybe one of the tanks upstairs. I might be working on it pretty soon too. Both of those would be well equipped to handle one of these things. So I'm going to try this again. I'll put this new one through its paces and stuff, and we'll let you know how it goes. But in the meantime, if you have a great idea for a DIY one, at the same time, I'd like to show your DIY traps, and maybe there'll even be a little prize of some sort. Show me your DIY fish traps, especially if they could catch maybe, say, an 18-inch bicher. I know that seems oddly specific, but you know, whatever. I will show them on this channel for whatever that's worth. So if you would like the notoriety of being here featured on this YouTube channel along with this cool product, let me know. I'd love to see it. My email address is in the description. All right, now moving on to something super exciting. That's all fun future stuff, but let's talk about something that I'm about to start working on this weekend. Awaze sent me this. Here I am. I'm here. Isn't it cool? And it is, of course, you know, completely empty because I pulled that thing out a long time ago. And here it all is. It is a really huge terrarium. Still all new and wrapped in this plastic wrap to protect it from harm. The BioOrb Air is a terrarium kit. It's one that I've wanted for a really long time. It's a fairly smart device in that it's got a built-in timer that's automatic. It's on a 12-hour cycle, 12 hours on and off. So you will need it to eventually, at some point, plug it in at a time of day you want to be the beginning of the day. I have not read the instructions or anything yet. I will be doing that before I operate it. But I do know a few things about it. The other thing, really cool thing that it does is it's got an automatic mister in here, so it'll mist. I think it detects. It either does it on a timer or detects the humidity, and then it will emit some moisture, or maybe it'll just do it when you press the button. There's a little button here to make it vape. Aside from the BioOrb Air, which is a quite significant size, it does come with some other little things to kind of help you get started. This is an air filter that goes in the top. It also comes with this, which is you have to assemble it. These just kind of snap together. But this is sort of a false bottom, so that moisture can collect underneath there. And it does that so you can put it in the tiny circle at the top. It also comes with a power supply, and it looks like this is one that is made to work in a lot of different places. You know, so you got some European plugs. I have no idea what that is. Won't be using that one. You put your localized power source on there and it clicks right into place. There we go. All set here. It also comes with a couple of bottles of what's probably RO water. RO water is important to put in your misting system because it will not leave the hard water spots. All those white dots and stuff that you see from your water, that's the calcium and stuff. I use that Aquashopper RO system. I unboxed a little personal RO system, and I've been using it in my my vision cage. And it's I have zero water spots. It is such a smart thing to do, to just use our RO water to mist your plants and stuff. And it comes with 2 of those. It also comes with this little brick of coconut bark. And this doesn't look like a lot of substrate, but what you do is you put this in a bucket with some water and let it soak, and it turns into basically half of a 3-gallon bucket full of coconut bark. I'm not sure if I'll use this or not. I might initially. I have a spring mix that I like to use. It's kind of Serpa Designs, like or spring mix. It sounds like a salad. I think he calls it a tropical mix, is what he says. It's a tropical mix of stuff. And I've got a bunch of it pre-mixed in the garage. I might use this just to kind of like set up a kit as intended, but it's cool that you have that. It also came with this bag of stuff that I haven't looked in yet. All right, and we got our little bag of things. This here is a cloth. And it goes over the top of this. So this is gonna, so you fold that in, and it can place it down inside of there. This cloth attaches to this thing and prevents any dirt from getting down in that water layer, that moisture layer. And then this will be kind of a cap for it. Yeah. It also has a little squirter hose in case you want to put that inside of there and use mist your plants that way. And I've got this thing. I have no idea what it does. I guess I need to go watch some other people's videos. Or maybe read the instructions. That was something else I could do. But it's got this other little bladder that has a little metal piece. I'm not sure if this is for putting water into the misting system or what. So let me move this stuff around and I'll show you the light. So some cool features that this has is that there's a little water level thing. So this is a little hose. It's only on this little spur on here. So it kind of stashes underneath here. It's a little stealthy little thing to look at. But what it does is it tells you what the water level is, so you can make sure that you've got enough moisture in there to keep the humidity where you are going to want it. As we open up the top here, you'll see where here's a little water reservoir, and at the bottom of it, at the bottom of it is that mister that I was talking about. And from this side, I can see it's got like it's like a little chip in there, so it's got some circuitry, some intelligence there. My guess is that this is an automatic mister that'll either come on after a period of time, or maybe if you're lucky, it'll detect the humidity. I'm not sure if it does that or not. There's a ring around the inside of this too that has a series of lights. All right, there it is on. It's kind of lit up. It's probably, yeah, so you can see where the lights are on the rim there. Really wish they'd figure out a way to like hide the cord, like to put a cord in, or make it so you can plug it in there and like hide the electrical exchange for the lights at the top. But I guess if you plant it really carefully, you can kind of move this cord down through here. I certainly never really noticed it on any of the ones I saw on display on at their gallery or anytime they've been at a show. I've really admired this particular terrarium for a long time, so I'm excited to put it together. And in fact, it'll probably be one of my next projects. So what I've done already is I've broken down 2 tanks. I grabbed all the plants from inside of there, and I set up a whole nother dirted tank. Now I would say dirted, no filter aquarium, because that's kind of what I was going for with that particular one, but I'm not certain. Like, I've got a filter on it now, but really the filter's just something to move the water around. Right now I've got a tremendous amount of tannins, and the tank isn't looking all that great. Now, it looked okay on the setup, and I could just show you the setup, but I was wanting to show it to you over kind of a longer period of time. So that one's coming along. You'll see the makings of that next week as we take apart the 2 tanks, and I talk a little bit about tank longevity and how to know when it's appropriate to break it down, because my opinions on that have changed slightly. Now I have to go and either set this box back up for my cat because he's made it his home for the past several weeks, or maybe hide it and hope that he doesn't miss it too much. That's all I got for you this week. I'll be back real soon with more videos. Until next time, follow your bliss, keep a clean tank, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.